What's going on, everybody? Hope you guys are having a good day. You can see my office is a little messy. I've got new stuff just got here, so I got to clean that up. Hope everyone's having a good Thursday. It's a kind, we don't usually get great Thursday slates. This is a pretty good one, and it's a really interesting slate, like in terms of what to do based on value, who's going to start. Like, there's going to be things that happen. Like, for example, like Seth Curry's projecting to start most places. It could easily be Gary Harris, and either way, I like Seth Curry. By the way. But you're going to have to play, you're going to have some guys off the bench that are cheap. So just to go down the value part of this to start off with, I think that I'm going to be, I'm going to have a lot of Beauchamp. I believe in the guy. Unless like Noir gets a surprise start or something like that, I think that I'll have a pretty good percentage of Beauchamp. I'll be heavier on Curry, no matter whether Harris starts or not. I will have some Harris if Harris does start. Connaughton, I will have some exposure, but probably a little less than the field. Vincent, some exposure, probably a little less than the field. I'll be well over on TJ Warren. I have a little bit of Jamal Cain and of Highsmith. Highsmith, because I could see either of them getting the run here, and I don't think that Jamal Cain's projecting better, but he's not going to be owned either. So just guys who I'm considering for ultimate value, and then Javon Carter is the next one. All of which I'm interested in, I like him I like doing it the way I said, who I'm going to be overweight and who I'm going to be underweight on. Other guys who are going to pop now with Jaylen Brown out. Tatum is going to be a popular spend up. LeBron was projected to be a pretty popular spend up, but I think Tatum is going to be the guy now. I think LeBron will have some. And I also really like Embiid, Siakam, and I love Luka. So I'm going to try to get some Luka Embiid or Luka LeBron lineups, some Embiid, Tatum, Embiid, LeBron, something like that. I think that makes a lot of sense. I think the Brooklyn game is very stackable. Pop in questions and everything, guys, because I'm just going to run through what I'm doing. I think the Brooklyn game and the Milwaukee-Miami game are the obvious stackable ones. I do like getting a little LeBron and Luka back and forth in the late game. Not all that interested in that much from the other games, to be honest with you. I could see a good argument for Charlotte and Toronto, maybe Rozier, and I like Siakam, but it's just hard with me with these other guys who are all missing pieces and stuff and have a reason to go off, except for Luka, who just goes off. He's averaging 71 points over his last 10 games, etc. Toronto, and then they have a bunch of great mid-tier pieces, but I just don't feel like they're fitting into my builds as well because I'm trying to get up for the two of those spend-ups. Embiid is going to be the lower owned because of the thing. I just think it's more of a price point thing. If I see Embiid 11K, 1,800 cheaper than Luka, and within 200 of Tatum and LeBron, I'm usually just going to play Embiid in that situation. Things to note, LeBron is he is 35 points away from 30,000 points, and it's on TNT at home. That seems like a spot where there's a little narrative. So I would bet on LeBron's overs on shots and everything. And I think that LeBron's a really good play. I think that all those spend ups are basically in similar spots where they're all really good. And then Kyrie is the other spend, not all the way up, which is a pretty obvious one. One thing I'm wondering is about the other Brooklyn ownership, about the Ben Simmons and Royce O'Neal, and I just don't think all these guys end up as owned as they are projected to be, and it's kind of scary with the Nets because they have a lot of bodies. So like you could get a weird Cam Thomas game. Watanabe could be knocking down threes, so stay on the court. I'm not going to play him, but just throwing that out there. So it's just like a little bit, they could use Markieff Morris for some minutes. They have Sumner still there. They could play a lot of these guys just like a few minutes even, and that just gets like all of a sudden they've got 10 guys. That's why I want to focus on the Heat, who only have 8 players, even though the top price guys are pretty expensive. I think getting overexposed to to all of them actually. Vincent, Kane, Struss, Highsmith. I think that Highsmith is I think I like him a little better as a spend down than I maybe thought. So I'm actually going to make a note to maybe get a little bit more of him. Feels bad because he's not a high usage guy, but it's just in addition to the other value, so I can get other guys in with the studs. The other two guys that I'm spending any significant money on in my big lineups right now, Marcus Smart, but that's not significant money. Bobby Portis and Drew Holiday, pretty chalky ones, but I like both of them tonight. I think it's a good opportunity to try and take a shot with them. not getting to roll low on the back-to-back. Please, as Rody said, hit the like button. What's up to everybody in here? Good to see you guys. We knew the no Brown and Horford. Yeah, I went through my spiel without those guys. Joe Harris starting. Is that officially out? Because I figured he would, but yeah, I think he's going to. Yeah, so Joe Harris to start. It doesn't really take me off Curry, and it makes Joe Harris maybe more in play, but an easy pivot over to Curry if you want to go that route, which I think is reasonable. But the big ones are TJ Warren. I have two big lineups. I'm going to mix and match and get Embiid, Luka, Tatum, and probably LeBron in some form with those two in each, and try to get my spend downs, and then my one other spend up being a guy like either Kyrie, Holiday, something like that. It feels a little chalkier than I'd like, but I'm having trouble finding pivots that I feel really comfortable with elsewhere. I think Garland is an interesting pivot. I think that, off of Holiday chalk. I think that all the Raptors guys, as I mentioned, I think that Terry Rozier, especially because of his price on DraftKings, and I think that he just has the ability to light up. I know he's not going to make 14 out of 19 like he did last time out, but he's going to play 1 million minutes if the game is reasonably close. So you can get a little action going two ways there. I think Josh Giddey is an interesting run back if you want to play Embiid. These are the little tweaks that you're gonna want to find the right pieces of. But for the most part, what I'm doing is spending up on those four guys, using value, then using one of Kyrie, Holiday, Portis, something like that. That's sort of my overall builds. Ask me about specific players. I'm happy to answer. Like for Miami, I'll just go through. I think Vincent's fine for safety. I do think Oladipo is mildly interesting because they still only have 8 guys, and I'm just going to keep saying that over and over again. And I know it's kind of an ugly matchup, but you have like such a good spot to try to game stack that maybe trying to find the lower owned options, maybe using Jamal Cain might be an interesting thing to do off the bench. Maybe even Orlando Robinson. These are maybe larger field stuff. Those two are more larger field, but I do think you're trying to focus in on Miami, Milwaukee, and then obviously the Brooklyn situation. But I'm a little more on the Miami, Milwaukee than I am Brooklyn, and I'm actually considering Jimmy Butler, and I'm considering Bam a little bit. I just feel weird about it at their prices, but it's strange to me that with only 8 guys against a team that plays fast, if nothing else, like that, we can't get to any of the 8, the 2 really good ones of the 8 guys, which is, I guess, why I ended up with more Oladipo. But I do think that doing something like that is viable as well. Grant Williams for value. It's, to take a shot there, I think is totally fine. It's not what I'm doing. So I'll just say that it's not what I'm doing, but actually without Jalen now, let me update my thing, because I do think that it offers a few more minutes. I think that actually is going to make him a better play because he'll just be on the court for more minutes. That's simple as that. So yeah, I'm on board with that. It's not like my favorite value on the slate, but I'm on board with it. I didn't mention Robert Williams, who I really like, by the way, at center. And I felt like he was being underprojected until just this latest projection run went through. He popped up a little bit. And I think that that's a good idea if you want to spend down at center. I think that's really viable. Anthony Simons and Lillard plays. Simons always plays a ton of minutes. If the games are close, Simons is going to play a ton of minutes. Very 3-point shooting reliant with Lillard. And I'm just not getting to him. I'd rather play OG. I would rather play Scotty Barnes, and I'm not really in that price tier, but I don't mind it. All right, pop out some more questions, guys. Let's see what else we got. We have no sheets today, as you guys know, I think. Hopefully he said that in the Discord. But it should be a fun slate. I'm just curious how accurate some of these ownership projections are, because I think Robert Williams is going to be much more popular than he's being projected, which makes those games just become so stackable. I mean, that was the first thing I tried to do when I started the day, and it's the first thing, it's the thing I'm still trying to figure out how I want to stack it. I think Tatum and Smart are really good plays. I think Brogdon on the back-to-back is more dangerous, and I think that Derek White is even in play. The most for exposure is Miami, Milwaukee, followed by Brooklyn, Boston. And they're both way up there for me. So maybe Brooklyn, Boston, given the very latest news, but it's really close with Miami, Milwaukee. I will have my exposure to those on all my teams. That's where I'm at. No problem, MJC. That's what I mentioned. I did mention it, but that's cool. Happy to say it. Any interest in Nurkic or Evan Mobley? Yeah, I think Nurkic is a interesting mid-range play in a terrible matchup. But I think it's interesting because it'll probably keep him on the court more unless he gets in foul trouble. And I do like Mobley in a vacuum, but I just prefer other plays. I think Bobby Portis is a better play given the situation than Mobley is. All right, guys, keep firing them on in because I don't have a whole lot more to go through. My builds are fairly similar to earlier. I can just real quickly read you my DraftKings builds are like, I'll just say three. I have some 3 Brooklyn, 2 Bostons. I have some 4 Bucks, 1 or 2. Sorry, 2 Miamis, and then I'm paying up for the Siakam. I'm sorry for the Embiid, Luka, LeBron, and Tatum. Those are the 4 spend ups for me. So $3 is not too many at all. I have no problem with $3. I would make sure that I have somebody up from Miami on the other side because I probably will anyway. And they give you all the reason to by just having it's 9 guys, but how much is Haslam really going to play? It's really 8 guys. Maybe he gets a few minutes because they're at home, but I'm not worried about like 5 minutes. I'm worried. I'd be worried if it was like 12 or 14, though. That would be annoying. But I don't think that'll happen. What else do we have here? Looks like we're drying up on questions, guys. And if it's nothing else, I'm probably going to get out of here, finish my builds pretty soon, unless you guys have anything else you want to touch on. I think that balance, Brody, I like that question. I think that that's an interesting route to go, but I would use balance from the teams that you want to focus on, like, play Oladipo in the mid-range from Miami, from Milwaukee, play either Holiday or Portis. Or both. From Brooklyn, you have the Ben Simmons, Claxton, Kyrie guys. There's a fairly balanced build, even if you play Kyrie. And then I like the, either one of the Williams. I prefer Robert to Grant with Smart or Tatum, or Smart, I guess, for the balanced build. But those guys are all. That's the way I would treat the balanced builds there. On SaberSim, is the True Defense top tier package? No, it should be available. We had a problem uploading it off a couple times lately, and it seems to be happening tonight. We have a call tonight, so I'm going to make sure to get on that, and it will be fixed in the future. Unfortunately, for now, if you don't mind just going to both tabs, but we will clear that up and make sure it's loaded on there. For some reason, it's not auto loading, and it just seems like some sort of New Year update or something. Someone must have messed with it. I didn't play golf, so I didn't play. What's happening, Jimmy? Please tell me. I'm gonna data golf right now and make sure that Patton Kazire is not ruining my life. No, he's not. Okay, as long as he's not like winning a tournament, I'm okay with missing him. Oh, he's 1 under through 4. Any thoughts on Nunn? Nope. I wouldn't play him. It's a large field, crazy, psychotic punt for me. I think that let me rephrase that. I don't understand why Nunn is getting as much love as he is. I did play him a little bit the other day when LeBron was out. Why is Nunn projecting so much better? Like, it just worries me a little bit. Look, is it worth taking a shot? Sure. I think that's fine. But he's competing for minutes with a lot of other guards, especially now that Christie's starting. And Nunn did have the big game with LeBron where he got hot. He can always get hot, but just feels like there's better value out there. I'm not trying to get to any Nunn personally. Westbrook it's not the night for Westbrook for me. It's not the right kind of a matchup. First of all, LeBron is back. Second of all, his price has gotten really high. Third, and LeBron needs 35 points to get to 30,000. And if that happens during a show on TNT, it's going to be the LeBron show. So that's my answer to that one. All right, guys. If I had to choose a spend up, do I choose Embiid or LeBron? I actually would take Embiid, especially considering that he's looking like he's going to be lower owned. So that's my reasoning. And I think there's just nobody who can match up with him in this front court. I think Embiid gets to like what did he put up in the last game? It was ridiculous. Like it was 24 minutes that he played, and in 24 minutes he had 55 fantasy points. You know, I mean, like he's just a monster. He had 36 and 11 in 23 minutes. Jesus. And this is a very similar matchup. He's just going to crush as long as he wants to. The scary part is potential game flow and stuff like that. But I still think that Embiid is going to have a monster night. So that's a really good question. I have them both very high. I'm actually playing them together in some lineups. So I think they're really, really close. I'm going a little more with Embiid. I think LeBron is completely fine. If you're playing Luka already, I think you try to get LeBron instead, but like you don't have to. It can go either way. Anyway, guys, I appreciate everybody for tuning in. If there's nothing else, I'll give it a minute, but I'm going to bounce if there's nothing else. If there is, I'm happy to keep chatting with you guys for at least another little bit. All right. Well, thank you guys. I appreciate it very much. And please like before you get out of here and subscribe if you haven't. And if you're not in our Discord, you're making a mistake, jump on in. It'll be good to see you guys in there. Have a good one, everybody.